What's up, everybody? How's it going? Today, I'm going to be talking about the best games to be playing on this Halloween evening. Starting off at number 1 here, we've got Metroid Dread. Like many others, this was my first foray into the Metroid series. I had played older Metroid games before, like Metroid and Super Metroid, but this was the first one that I really had the desire to play through and beat. While this isn't a full-on horror game, it has some really cool horror elements, and the soundtrack is really immersive. I personally played through this on my OLED Switch, which makes the game look even more amazing. And personally, I feel like this is the perfect game to put on some headphones and play in a completely dark room, and really immerse yourself in it. I picked up this game in summer of 2022, and I was able to get the special edition for extremely cheap on StockX of all places. And I think I only paid around $50 for it, which is pretty crazy considering the retail price was $90. And according to price charting, it's actually only worth around $65 now. So if you're a fan of art books and steelbooks, this one's definitely for you. And here's where the creepy elements of the game come in. These areas of the game are where the EMMIs are found. And let me tell you, when they start chasing you, that's a scary feeling. And the soundtrack gives even more of a sense of urgency. Whenever they grab a hold of you, you are able to parry them, but you have to be extremely quick with it, and it's pretty difficult. But then whenever you do, you can slide underneath of them. This gives you a little bit of time to escape, but you've got to be really quick, or else they'll catch up to you. And able to destroy these, there are sections of these areas that you go in and you collect a new upgrade for your blaster. This upgrade is called the Omega Cannon, and it allows you to basically charge up a super powerful shot and destroy their center eye scanner thing. And as you can see, this upgrade looks insanely cool. Now, whenever you go to destroy the EMMI, you better make sure there's plenty of space between you and it, because it takes a little while to charge it up. Now, once you use the Omega Cannon to destroy the EMMI, it'll disappear until you find the next place where you can get it. Every time you run into a zone with an EMMI in it, it'll be marked with a door that looks like this. And whenever you walk into it, you should know to keep on your watch, because if you're not careful, you'll get destroyed. This cutscene here was really creepy starting off, mostly because I wasn't too familiar with the EMMIs, and just the way they move is so creepy. And you have to really watch your movement in these areas, because once they see you, they'll chase you relentlessly until they get you. One little mistake in your platforming movement, and that might just give them just enough time to catch up to you and grab you. It can especially be hard in some of these areas, because you can get trapped pretty easily, just like this. And most of the time when you do, it's game over. Next on our list at number 2, I decided to go with Luigi's Mansion 3. While this is a more light-hearted horror game, and it's certainly not scary by any means, you can't help but feel bad for Luigi as he's trapped. Everybody starts off going to this nice, fancy golden hotel. But as they go inside and check in, you can tell something's off. The staff seems overly friendly, and whenever you walk up to them, they start acting pretty weird. You can tell the whole team is excited about their nice vacation getaway, but soon, things are going to take a turn for the worse. As you can see, whenever you walk up to the staff members, it looks like they're wearing a mask or something, which you'll tell later on that they're actually a ghost. This guy's especially creepy. You can tell he's trying to hide the fact that he's a ghost, but the mask is so creepy, I don't know what he was thinking. The name of this hotel is even called The Last Resort, so I don't know how they didn't catch that this was questionable. A little bit later on, Luigi gets situated for bed, and as you'll see, that's when things start falling apart. He tries to read a book to get himself relaxed, and boy did it work quickly. Later in the middle of the night while he's sleeping, he gets woken up by Peach's scream, and comes out to, well, a rather creepy version of the hotel they were just in. Immediately you can tell everything is different. Luckily, Luigi packed his trusty flashlight. As soon as he walks out of his room door, he can see everything changing right in front of his eyes. He goes and checks everybody else's rooms, with no luck finding them, and before you know it, he's being chased by King Boo. In order to avoid being captured, he runs down to the end of the hallway and jumps into this chute. And as you can see by this point, the whole hotel has completely changed and revealed its true self. Now at this point you go walking around and exploring your new environment, and in the process of doing so, Luigi and his dog find the poltergust, and this proves to be a very useful tool. Not only is it a flashlight, but it can produce a burst of light which will stun the ghosts. It can also suck in things and also blow out air to push things away. The burst of light seems pretty powerful. As you can see here, it completely obliterates this mouse. The vacuum part of it can also come in handy though, because it can suck up money for you. Luigi won't be missing out on a single coin with this thing. After doing some more exploring, you run into your first pair of ghosts to fight. And as you can see, they absolutely terrify Luigi. These fights like this are pretty fun and definitely rewarding. As you can see, the vacuum alone doesn't do anything. You have to blind it and then suck it up. And then from there, if you hold it long enough, you can slam it into the ground. So as I said earlier, this game's pretty fun, and I often see it used for around $35. So, not a bad price for this game, and if you've been looking for an excuse to pick it up, this is your perfect time. Lastly on our list at number 1, we have Red Dead Redemption: Undead Nightmare. Originally released on October 26th of 2010, this game came out just in time for Halloween. Red Dead Redemption, as well as this Undead Nightmare DLC, was recently re-released on the PS4 and the Switch, and I certainly recommend checking it out if you've never played these games before. They're pretty amazing. You can also still play these games through Xbox One and Xbox Series backwards compatibility, and I believe that these are the definitive ways to play the games, because the PS4 and Switch versions run at 30 FPS at a lower resolution, whereas the Xbox Series version runs at 60 frames per second, and I believe it's upscaled to 4K, but I could be wrong on that. That being said, the Switch version is still pretty great, as it's locked in at a really steady 30 FPS. Me and my fiance have been playing it some, and it's pretty solid. So in this game, the protagonist, John Marston, comes home after being away from some time to his family, and he says that something's going on, dogs are going crazy and everything, and before you know it, there's a zombie bursting into their door, and his wife and son are turned into zombies. Towns and cities have been ravaged by the zombies, and you'll spend most of your time in the game searching for a cure and trying to help protect these settlements. This DLC has an awesome narrative, and it'll give you plenty of playtime and some great gameplay to enjoy. I will warn you though, there is a bit of a difficulty spike in this game compared to the base game, because, when you're riding around, zombies can rip you off your horse. And I will say the zombies are rather fast in this. But one of my favorite parts of the game is whenever you have to go to the graveyards and basically kill every zombie that's there. You start by burning their coffins, and then they'll rise up out of the ground and you fight them in waves. And I definitely think it's very fun. This DLC also has a great selection of weapons. It has many of the weapons from the base game of Red Dead Redemption, as well as it adds a bunch of its own. Another thing that I love about this is you can find these special horses. They are the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and whenever you get them, you can unlock some pretty cool powers with them. Of these 4 horses, there is Death, which causes the zombies' heads to explode upon impact. There's War, which causes the zombies to ignite upon impact. There's Pestilence, which will stun the enemies upon impact. And lastly, there's Famine, which is surrounded by a swarm of locusts, and it's extremely fast. So I put this game at number 1 because I feel like it's the perfect game to play on Halloween. And right now, you can buy the PS4 and Switch versions for $50, and I believe you can find that at pretty much any big retailer. And if you're wanting to play it on Xbox through backwards compatibility, I recommend you just go pick up the 360 physical disc. You can find the DLC in a double pack, or you can also just buy it completely separately. They made a separate disc for it. So this version of the game, the Game of the Year edition, which is the Red Dead and Undead Nightmare put into one case, you can usually find that for around $18 or so. So pretty cheap. And I recommend you do that because the base game is a heck of a game as well. But if you just want the Undead Nightmare DLC disc, usually a complete copy of that will run around $10. So definitely not a bad price. I'll also throw out there, if you'd rather emulate it on a PC, if you have one worthy of emulating Xbox 360 games, you can play these on Xenia, and I found that it ran extremely well. Definitely locked at 60 FPS. You can upscale it, and it looks really good. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. This is the first style of video that I've done that's like this. Let me know if you want to see more like this. I'm sure I can improve with this style as I go. But if you guys want to see more lists like this, let me know. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.